The containment facility hummed with the low drone of energy barriers and filtered air systems. Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez had been assigned to guard duty for 3 weeks now, watching over the most unusual prisoner of war the Earth Defense Force had ever captured. The alien sat motionless in the center of the sterile white cell, its crystalline form catching and refracting the harsh fluorescent lights into rainbow patterns across the walls. Maya shifted her weight from one foot to the other, her back aching from hours of standing at attention. The metal chair beside her post seemed to mock her with its empty seat. Every time she had attempted to sit during her shifts, the alien would react violently. Its crystal appendages would flare with brilliant light, and it would emit a sound like breaking glass that set her teeth on edge. The previous guards had reported the same phenomenon, leading to a strict protocol. No sitting while on duty with Subject 7. Freaking crystal nightmare, Maya muttered under her breath, glancing at the chronometer on her wrist. Still 4 hours left on her shift. Her legs felt like lead, and the small of her back sent sharp spikes of pain up her spine with each slight movement. The alien, designated Subject 7 by the research team, had been captured during the failed invasion of the Martian colonies 6 months ago. Unlike the other prisoners, this one had never attempted to escape or shown any signs of aggression toward humans, except for its bizarre reaction to seated guards. The xenobiologists were baffled. The creature seemed almost docile, spending most of its time in what appeared to be a meditative state, occasionally humming in frequencies that made the walls vibrate. Maya studied the alien through the transparent aluminum barrier. Its body was roughly humanoid but composed entirely of what looked like living crystal. Faceted surfaces caught the light and threw it back in mesmerizing patterns. Where a human would have a face, the alien had a complex arrangement of geometric shapes that somehow conveyed expression despite their rigid structure. Right now, those shapes seemed arranged in what Maya had learned to interpret as calm alertness. The creature's head turned toward her, and Maya felt that familiar chill run down her spine. Even after weeks of observation, she couldn't shake the feeling that it was studying her just as intently as she was studying it. The alien's communication attempts had been limited to mathematical sequences and simple pictographs, but the xenolinguists were making progress in establishing a basic vocabulary. Maya's knees nearly buckled as another wave of fatigue hit her. She looked longingly at the chair, then back at the alien. Subject 7's crystalline form had shifted slightly, and those geometric features were now arranged in what she had come to recognize as attention. It was watching her, waiting. "What is it with you and chairs?" Maya asked aloud, knowing the alien couldn't understand her words, but hoping her tone might convey the question. "Are you just messing with us? Or is there something we're missing?" The alien's form shimmered, and for a moment Maya thought she saw something like sadness in the arrangement of its features. It raised one crystalline appendage and pointed toward the corner of the cell, where a small writing tablet and stylus had been placed for communication attempts. Maya's heart rate quickened. Subject 7 had never initiated communication before. She quickly activated the cell's communication protocol, allowing the alien access to the writing materials. The creature moved with fluid grace to the tablet and began to write, its crystalline fingers adapting to grip the stylus with surprising dexterity. The alien worked for several minutes, occasionally pausing to look at Maya before continuing. When it finished, it held up the tablet toward the barrier. Maya activated the translation scanner, and the alien's pictographs and symbols began converting to text on her display. The message that appeared made Maya's blood run cold. "Warning. Danger. Sitting position vulnerable. Enemies approach from above. Protect human soldier. Cannot explain words. Show respect by standing. Honor guard duty. Threat comes soon." Maya stared at the screen, her mind racing. She looked up at the alien, who was now standing at the barrier, its crystalline form pulsing with urgent light. The geometric features of its face were arranged in an expression she had never seen before, desperate concern. "You're protecting me?" Maya whispered, her voice barely audible over the facility's ambient noise. The alien nodded, a surprisingly human gesture that sent chills down Maya's spine. It pointed upward, then made a swooping motion with its arm, followed by what could only be described as a protective stance. Suddenly, the facility's lights flickered. Maya's radio crackled to life with urgent voices. "Breach in Sector 7, unknown contacts. Coming from above." The alien's form blazed with brilliant light, and it pressed itself against the barrier, its features now clearly showing urgency. It pointed at Maya, then at the ground, making a crouching motion. Maya didn't hesitate. She dropped to the floor just as the ceiling above her guard post exploded inward. 3 sleek, dark shapes descended through the breach, enemy infiltrators using some kind of gravity manipulation technology. Their weapons were already charging, aimed at where she had been standing moments before. The alien's cell barrier flickered and died as the facility's power grid fluctuated. Subject 7 stepped out of its containment, its crystalline form now blazing like a star. It moved with impossible speed, placing itself between Maya and the infiltrators. The sound it made was like a symphony of breaking glass, and waves of harmonic energy rippled through the air. The infiltrators' weapons discharged harmlessly, their energy absorbed and redirected by the alien's crystalline structure. Subject 7 advanced on them, its form shifting and changing, becoming something beautiful and terrible at once. The attackers retreated, their equipment failing in the face of the alien's harmonic assault. As quickly as it had begun, the encounter was over. Security forces poured into the chamber, but the infiltrators had vanished back through the breach they had created. The alien stood in the center of the destroyed guard post, its light gradually dimming back to normal levels. Maya struggled to her feet, her mind reeling from what she had witnessed. The alien turned toward her, and she saw something impossible in its crystalline features. A gentle smile, if such a thing could exist in living stone. "You knew," Maya said, understanding flooding through her. "You've been protecting all the guards. That's why you wouldn't let us sit. You could sense them coming." The alien nodded and moved back toward its cell. The barrier flickered back to life, but Maya noticed that the alien had left the writing tablet outside the containment field. She picked it up and found a new message. "Trust builds bridges between stars. Your people safe now. Enemies gone. But Maya Rodriguez, you listened. You tried to understand. This changes everything." Maya looked up at the alien, who was once again in its meditative pose. But now she understood that it wasn't meditation, it was vigilance. Subject 7 had been standing guard over its guards, protecting the very people who held it prisoner. The war between humans and the crystalline species had begun with misunderstanding and fear. But in this sterile containment facility, surrounded by the wreckage of a failed attack, Maya realized that it might just end with something far more powerful. Trust between 2 species who had more in common than they had ever imagined. As she settled into her chair for the first time in weeks, Maya noticed that the alien didn't react with distress. Instead, its crystalline form seemed to pulse with what could only be described as satisfaction. The vigil was over. The understanding had begun.